Welcome to ReviseMed YouTube channel for pharmacology. The episodes are not substitutes for the learned lectures by your esteemed professors, but these topics will help you to revise from examination point of view. In this episode, we are going to see certain introductory aspects of pharmacology like definitions, terminology, etc. This will be useful during Viva OC. Introduction to pharmacology. Pharmacology is a study of drugs. Drug is a substance used in diagnosis, prevention or treatment of a disease. Since this definition did not satisfy certain aspects of drug use, WHO came out with a new definition. According to that, a drug is any substance or product that is used or intended to be used to modify or explore physiological systems or pathological states for the benefit of the recipient. Pharmacy is the identification, compounding and dispensing of drugs. It also includes collection, isolation, purification, synthesis and standardization of medicinal substances. Toxicology deals with the study of poisonous effects of drugs and other chemicals, as well as treatment of poisonings. Therapeutics deals with use of drugs in prevention and treatment of diseases. Chemotherapy is use of chemicals in treatment of infections. It also includes drug treatment of cancer. Clinical pharmacology comprises all aspects of scientific study of drugs in humans. Pharmacopoeia is official publication of drugs and medicinal preparations approved for use, their formulae and other information needed to prepare a drug like their physical properties, tests for their identity, purity and potency. So every big country has got its own pharmacopoeia. In India we have got IP, that is Indian Pharmacopoeia. In Britain it is British Pharmacopoeia BP. Essential drugs are drugs that satisfy healthcare needs of majority of population. They should be available at all times in adequate amounts and in appropriate dosage forms. Orphan drugs are drugs that are used for diagnosis, treatment or prevention of rare diseases. Example, digoxin antibody, leothyronin, etc. Now we will see different names of a drug. We will see first chemical name. Chemical name gives exact chemical composition of a drug. For instance, N-acetyl para-aminophenol is the chemical name of paracetamol, which is called acetaminophen in US. Generic or non-proprietary name denotes a name given to a drug before it becomes official. Typically refers to the chemical makeup of a drug. It is usually shorter. For example, metformin is the generic name for an anti-diabetic drug. What is trade name or brand name or proprietary name? It is the name that is registered by a manufacturer. It is always followed by a trademark symbol. Can be used only by the manufacturer. So, there will be several trade names because there may be several manufacturers. At the same time, the drug will be generically same. First letter of the brand name is usually capitalized while generic names are not. Generic and trade name drugs have same basic ingredients by law. For example, glucophage is the brand or trade or proprietary name for metformin, which is the generic name for an anti-diabetic drug. Brand names or brand drugs are usually more expensive because they spend a lot of money in development and marketing. What is prototype drug? It is representative of many drugs within the class. For instance, take the group called benzodiazepines. Diazepam is the prototype of all benzodiazepines. Other members of the group, alprazolam, chlordiazepam, etc. all have sedative or hypnotic anti-anxiety properties in common. What's combination drug? A combination drug or fixed dose combination is a medicine that includes two or more active ingredients combined in a single dosage form. Aceclofenac paracetamol combination is an anti-inflammatory one. Metformin and glyphosate is an anti-diabetic combination. In the following portion, we will see how drugs are actually classified and called. They may be called according to the chemical nature of the drug, like glycoside, alkaloid, steroid, sulfonamide, etc. We can also call drugs according to their therapeutic effect: antihypertensive, antiemetic, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, etc., and diuretic. Then we can also call some drugs according to their physiological action, like beta-adrenergic blocker, calcium channel antagonist, etc. Sometimes a drug may belong to more than one classification. For instance, propranolol, a beta blocker by physiological action, is also an anti-anginal, anti-arrhythmic, antihypertensive based on its therapeutic uses. We can also call drugs based on their target organ on which they act. Drugs acting on CNS, ANS, respiratory system, etc. We can also group some drugs based on their physiological system on which they act. Sympathomimetics like adrenaline, noradrenaline, or neuromuscular blocker drugs like tuberculin, etc. Then finally, we can also call some drugs according to their physical effects like emollient, astringent, demulcent, etc. Now we will see different terminologies in denoting various aspects of pharmacology. Action. Drug action refers to all pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic processes involved in producing a drug effect on the disease. What is pharmacokinetics? You will frequently hear about this in the text. Pharmacokinetics is the study of drug absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. But in short, you must know to say what body does to the drug. Pharmacokinetics refers to what body does to the drug. Pharmacodynamics is a term that denotes the study of a drug's molecular, biochemical, and physiological effects or actions. In short, you must be able to say pharmacodynamics is what drug does to the body. What is pharmacogenetics? That refers to how variation in one single gene influences a response to a single drug. Pharmacogenomics is study of how whole genetic makeup, that is genome, or prakriti of a person, according to Indian medicine, affects response to several drugs. Side effects and adverse reactions. Possible unpleasant or dangerous secondary effects other than desired effects. For instance, acetozolamide is a diuretic. Its side effect is to lower intraocular tension. So, this particular action is used by physicians to treat glaucoma patients. So, here we are using a side effect which is harmless to treat a particular condition. Then diphenhydramine, an antihistamine used to relieve symptoms of allergy, hay fever, and common cold. But it causes sedation, dizziness, thickening of bronchial secretion, which are side effects or mild adverse effects. Then there are certain severe adverse effects, which we call toxic effects: nephrotoxicity, then photosensitivity. Nephrotoxicity by gentamicin may be an example. Photosensitivity by antipsychotic haloperidol, etc. Then what is indication? Medical condition for which drug is meant to be used. Example, paracetamol is indicated in fever. Pharmacovigilance. This is a new branch dealing with science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects or any other medicine or vaccine related problem. Now, pharmacovigilance has become very popular in assessing various adverse effects of drugs. Contraindication denotes a condition for which drug should not be given. Example, some drugs may be contraindicated in pregnancy, lactation, etc. Then what is warning and precaution? Conditions are types of patients that warrant closer observation for specific side effects when drug is given. For instance, we must warn the patient if he is having a history of bronchial asthma, hypertension, etc. So before giving a particular drug in these types of patients, we must warn and caution. Then what is drug interaction? When a drug is administered, a response occurs. If a second drug is given and the response to the first drug is altered, a drug-drug interaction is said to have occurred. Similarly, food and drug can also interact. We will see these interactions in detail in later episodes. Thank you.